Estamos muy contentos de verlos a todos.
Welcome.
Hello.
I saw Yuri.
歡迎大家。
Great. You all, we're going to wait a couple minutes for some more friends to come in the room. Please get your food, your water, relax. And let's just have some parent and adult time tonight. We also look forward to seeing the kids that will show up.
Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. Vamos a esperar unos momentos para que se unan más padres con nosotros. Por favor, vayan y agarren su agua o si están cocinando. No importa que estén haciendo algo con sus familias, por favor, si pueden estar en pantalla, se los agradeceríamos.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry， 咁我哋再等幾分鐘時間，我哋就會開始㗎啦。多謝大家耐心等候。
All right, I also want to say that all the dogs in my house want to talk tonight, so they'll be louder than the kids, just warning you. Hi, Emily and family.
Solo les quiero decir que los perros ahí en su casa tienen ganas de platicar, o están ahí ladrando, o si los oyen, es porque están ahí queriendo también, está reconociendo los que están ahí con ella.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let's get our
All right, we will go ahead and put up the slide for the translation room.
Se van a abrir el cuarto de traducción en unos minutos. Si quieren escuchar en otro lenguaje, por favor opriman el lenguaje de que ustedes quieran escucharlo.
咁而家有廣東話嘅翻譯嘅。
Great. And Yuri, can we please get translation in the chat box as well, my friend?
So here says the let me see. Oh, so the tone is kind of low, can hear well. So I try to raise my voice.
The interpretation lines are open.
I was just talking on mute. Thank you. If you need interpretation in Chinese, in Cantonese or Spanish, the interpretation rooms are now open, and we'd love for you to click the button and we will get started. Welcome. Thumbs up if we're ready in those rooms. Great, thank you, Joanna. Thank you. Great. Frank, you want to put the slide on presenter mode, or would you like me to do it? Presentation mode? I think there's a lag. You all, welcome tonight for the Family Landing Pad. We are going to just take a moment and be with each other, support each other, and to talk about some things maybe we could do around the springtime. And so I'd love, Franklin, to go ahead and open up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we all can go ahead and see our little slideshow that has our first question. If you could see the slideshow, James, can you give me a thumbs up? We're having some technical difficulty. Great. Thank you. All right, Franklin, it's you.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're so delighted to be with you all and to hear from you all. How was your spring break? And as you guys know, our hope for tonight is that we would be interactive. It's really for all of us to participate and not just for Gingy and I to talk to you. And so we want to invite people to start checking in. How was your spring break and what was the highlight? You could put it in a chat, but we love to see your face and have you online. You all know we don't mind you having your children, your dogs, or being in your car. Just don't drive and look at the screen. I think Sally Angel police were definitely doing like a little check today. Make sure people weren't on their phones.
All right, y'all, how was spring break? Love to hear your voice. What's up? You could even be like, we just slept. Hello. Hi, Violetta. Violetta.
She's one
You're
of our,
muted.
Unmute. You're
she's one of
muted.
our pair facilitators.
Oh,
My spring break was very restful. I just stayed home. I tried to clean up, but I didn't do a really good job.
Yay!
how about you, Dennis? You want to share how was your spring break and what was the highlight?
The spring break was great. It was just enjoying the time off with the kids.
Very nice. Jasmine, you want to share how was your spring break? Oh, just at that moment, she put it in the chat window. Maybe Yodi can help us translate that. How about my friend Jessa? Can you hear us? How about my friend Aiden? Or Aiden? Is it Aiden or Aiden's mom?
Aiden. No, Aiden. Good.
Okay,
Good.
how was your spring break?
Oh, pues, pues muy bueno, cambios de clima, pero muy buenos.
All right. I don't know if someone wants to translate that, but I think Joanna will help us with that. Awesome. That's how we do community here. And Wendy, how about you? How was your spring break? Bittersweet, no work, but they brought. Oh, this has been like such a constant. Wendy, go ahead. We'll come back to Aiden.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was a bit of a challenge since I was been working from home and having the two kids around. You know, it's just like, when are we going out, Mom? Like, where are we going today? What are we eating? So it's that. But you know, overall on Wednesday when it got pretty hot, we ended up going to the beach. So it was pretty good overall.
Nice. So they were on spring break, but you were not necessarily.
Right. That's a new story, right? We used to be able to go to the office and now some of us are at home more and we're like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't working.
It looks like somebody may have broken into Lorena's car. This is a little bit of a theme. That's no fun.
Sorry, Lorena. That's not a way to spend spring break. You good?
It's like, boo.
You know what? Overall, I like I ain't gonna lie, it's hard work, and I'm like, hey, you work your butt off. And I take it as a lesson for everything, for Leo and for me, because they stole his Nintendo. I was like, well, it's like natural consequences. I've told you so many times, make sure you bring your valuables down the car. You didn't listen. Oh well, my buddy. But at the same time, it's kind of like it happened where I live, so it's kind of like that bittersweet kind of notion. I'm like not even being safe in my own place, but at the end of the time, happens no matter where you're at, so it is what it is. But
That's right.
Yeah.
when it wasn't like, let's say it didn't happen, me getting off work, be getting like me being there. So mature things, as much as it hurts, but it comes and goes. So
That's
overall,
right.
Yeah. And good, Lorena, you know, that's the magic of parenting, is that we have to make teachable moments for our kids. And sometimes they don't feel good, even in that moment, but I bet he won't leave them in the car anymore. You know, he's gonna be like, Mommy, get your stuff. Yeah. The change of weather was good. You all, thank you. I think our spring break was a lot of time with the kids, and we worked in LA and we took the kids with us. So we drove hundreds and hundreds of miles, but we actually got an opportunity to learn more about our kids. How many of you, when you have breaks sometimes, you actually learn a little bit more about your kids because they change so much? Yeah, and you get to ask these questions and see things and you're like, oh, wow. Dennis, did you learn something about your kids over spring break, or your kid? You're muted, my friend. I see him trying to unmute.
I see Dennis trying to unmute.
Yeah, yeah. All right, come on, phone. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. I just wait. Dennis, when you're ready, when you can get your unmute, let us know. We'll just pause back for you. Okay, my friend?
Yes, we will.
Great. Another question or next slide, Frank?
Great.
Yeah. And then also, we love to see your beautiful faces. This activity, one of the things we like to do, and even just with us, is that in this season, there's so much going on, right? How many of you feel like your kids are going through an emotional or even physical shift right now, or mental, right? Or even you are? James and I were talking about it, and I love to see faces, or if you could raise your hand virtually. How many of you are almost a little bit tired of being adults right now? The whole adulting thing. It's intense. Oh, we can't say that secret with kids. They don't know that, right? How many of us, right? How many of us sometimes are like, the cadence of life is so intense, and your body rhythm, your emotion, your anxiety, and it's spring, and all this stuff is happening. And there are moments when you just need peace. Anybody out there just need a moment of peace, of stillness throughout their day, of centering? Anyone there? Okay. So what I want you all to do, my friends, is take a moment to look at these pictures that represent different forms of beauty, different outdoor places. And one of the things we like to talk about in spring in all our areas of work is that it's also a time that is great to bring nature back into our lives, into our homes, into our hearts, and introduce to our youngins. So I want you to take a moment and look at these pictures. And I want you to identify one of these pictures that brings you peace. My picture would be the bottom left, the ocean. It brings me peace in a heartbeat like nothing else. Which picture, and I'd love for you guys to share, we like to hear, which picture brings you peace and why? I'll give an example. The ocean one brings me peace because in the midst of trying to be a good parent, a good person, a good business owner, or just good, sometimes it's a lot, but when I go to the ocean at sunset, it makes me feel like everything is so small in my little world and that there are endless possibilities. It's my place of peace. What about yours? I'd love to hear. In the chat box or out loud. Trin, what do you have? You shake your head. I think you got something already.
Yeah, 4 is definitely mine. The first 2 definitely gives me allergy vibes, so hard pass on those. But it's something about the sunset, like just the sound of the waves and just like, how can you not be mad about that? Like, you can't be mad about that. It just brings me at peace.
Yeah, yeah. Do you catch the ocean and sunset a lot?
We try to.
Yeah, yeah. One of the beautiful things is Alameda Beach. If all else fails, it's not too far. Yeah. So about your number 5. Let's hear you interpret it for yourself.
Mine's is like the peace and comedy that it looks like, and then it makes it like, even though like world and then everything might be as hard or whatever, we're still, if we just take that moment of peace and calmness, we could really enjoy the beauty of what's around us.
Yeah. Let's take that moment. The endless number of stars. Right. Who else? Jasmine, what brings you peace, my friend? Which one? Or anyone else? I see 4. Okay, let's see which one is 4. Oh, the same ones are popping up. Anyone have, thank you, Jasmine. Anyone have a different one? Wendy, how much?
Yeah, I want to say number 2, the woods. I like to go hiking, and on the rare occasion that my kiddos stay over at the grandparents' house over the weekend, that is my place to go for myself, just to kind of have a moment to myself without the noise, without anyone, and like just me, and I tend to kind of find myself again in those little moments, and and I really appreciate everything that nature gives us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wendy, what's beautiful about that, and everyone, my friends, is we have access to the beach and the redwoods and the snow all within 3 hours. Like, it is there's something mighty about being in the redwoods. And so that's beautiful. And I love, because often people say, I take my kids with you, but you're like, this is my place.
I mean, I take them once in a while, but you know, like when I don't have my kids, my mom says, you know, go shopping, go do your own thing. But that is my to-go place, you know, go out on a hike. It doesn't matter where it is. We have, you know, Chabot Park. There's like many entrances where it's completely deserted. That, you know, it's just, it brings me a lot of peace for sure.
Nice. I like that. That's my to-go place. Great. Anyone else?
There's something very special about, you know, being a city dweller, and then that first moment where you get to the woods and it goes completely quiet and you just forgot how quiet it could actually become, and then to spend that whole afternoon there. It's a introvert's dream to be able to get that level of space and quiet. I love it.
It's also a great place to go scream if need be.
Yeah, I like number 2 as well, because I kind of thought of it as like those redwoods like really are protecting me from the outside world. I'm actually going into a place that isn't the metropolitan, isn't the city, nature, and definitely becomes so much peaceful when you you go into the forest or the woods or into a area like that. So I definitely navigated to number 2.
Thank you, James. Beautiful. Dennis, you said number 4. Do you want to talk now, my friend, or are you good?
Yes, number 4 remind me of the bonfire.
Say more.
You can just go out there and, you know, light some marshmallows out, you know, chill a little bit.
Yeah. You know, you all, one of the reasons why I love doing this with folks and parents or guardians in particular is because there's something extraordinary about us finding our to-go place or a peaceful place within nature. 1, it's free. How many love free, especially in the Bay Area? 2, there's just something about it. And 3, it is a place that we also could introduce to our children. And I think one of the greatest gifts we can give them is when they are restless, when they are anxious, when they have too much energy, when they're sad, even when they're happy, that there's more than the gaming, the computers, that there are these places in nature that we access that are free, that wherever they go in their life and in world, they exist. The trees, the ocean, the stars, the air, down to the right, the garden. I know for our kids, grandma's garden was their place, right? A lot happens in the garden, a lot of life. And so in springtime, as we look at all the different changes our young folks will go through, let's remember that one of the best ways of medicine and just pure free joy is nature. And we in San Leandro have so many beautiful places around us. And like I'm seeing my friend driving with your kids in a car, and you are extraordinary. Sometimes when my kids were little and they get restless in the car, I just literally pull over like, oh, there's a tree, get out, let's run around the tree. You know, like just those little things to even break up the monotony of stress in the body. And even how many of you have siblings that they like to fight and hit each other in the back of the car type of stuff? Is that just me? Is that some of y'all too? Right. Sometimes pulling your car over and being like, we are going to walk around this tree is a good strategy as well. Any thoughts or comments before we move to our next slide, my friends? Running off some of that energy for free. Yes, Dennis. Yes. And one of the things, I'm going to say this, one of our children, when he was younger, one of the things I found out, he would get really anxious. His mind does so much. And one time I took him outside and he began to climb this tree. And I saw a piece of him that I didn't see anywhere else. And so from the age of like 2 to 7, when he, in particular, this child would get into climbing trees, it calmed his soul. I didn't even understand it. And so literally we would find different parks where he could just climb a tree. He was a gamer, all these things. But what that tree offered to his centering and his mind, body, and spirit, I didn't see it anywhere else. And so if you find your children or even us as adults, I'll bring up a picture one day when the kids got out of COVID, I told them to climb the tree and they acted like they couldn't climb a tree anymore. So I climbed the tree. So there's a picture of me at 44 in this big old tree talking about, I can still climb this tree. But what it did for all of us, they climbed the tree. And so I just want to offer that as a token of medicine for us as older folks and younger folks, the gift of trees and nature. I think there is a comment in the comment box. He's in tune with nature. Yes, he is. And many of our kids are. Let's go ahead to the next slide as well. All right, so here's one of the things, my friends, we want to talk about is that in this season, we love to talk about spring cleaning. And how many of you, when you were growing up, the people be like, it's time to spring clean, bring out the white gloves. There were rituals in your houses, right? Open the windows, take out the cobwebs. Were there any routines in your life or family when spring came or season shifted? I saw your hand, Dennis. I actually think I saw you got a little excited too.
Knows about that.
Yeah. And so what we use for spring, even as a metaphor, is it's time to clear out the clutter, the mind, body, and even the things in our house for our kids. How do we start being really honest about what we need to let go in our house, in our mind, and in our bodies as adults? And as we, in this season of spring, we teach our children because they are watching what we're doing. And so one of the things, sometimes I wake up, I say, open the windows, turn on the music. They're like, oh my gosh, mommy, something's going on. And literally we shift a lot of things in the house just by, as adults. And sometimes I have to say, who wants to get out of bed on the weekend? No. Sometimes we want to keep our head under that pillowcase. Can I keep it real? Can I keep it real, Frank? Some of us as adults suffer from depression and anxiety and worry about paying the bills, especially as seasons change, our relationships. And so as one adult to another who cares for people, I want to say spring is here. Yeah. And what is it in our life that we have to move away from us so that we are healthier and inevitably our children or the kids we do are healthier? So one is mind. Be brave and try new things. Yeah. Are there new things you've been wanting to try? This is new gym I've been wanting to try. I ain't got there yet. But is there this new thing you want to try that you haven't? Is there a way to be brave and try that? Is there anyone here who has something new that they've been wanting to do? Write poetry, go to the gym, kickbox, all kind of stuff. And then the other thing is exercise matters. I heard this elder speak, and she is a billionaire now. I'm not lying. I just went to a conference. And out of all the stuff she said, one of the things she said, if I had known I was going to live this long, I would have took better care of my body and my mind. She didn't say anything about money or anything. And so in that exercise, can we put one thing in our routine and think about it as clearing out our mind? If you don't want to go to therapy, how do we let nature be our therapy? How do we get to those redwoods more, to that sunset more, to that rock that has those stars more? Meditate. How do you meditate? For me, when I think of meditation, it's prayer for me. What is it for you? Is it yoga? Is it music? Is it nature? I'm gonna pause. I see Lorena says, I have an alarm that reminds me every day to be grateful, right? Is it an app? There are apps and alarms. Anybody got Alexa in the house? You could say, Alexa, I'm not saying because then she may talk back to me, but you could ask Alexa to give you a good joke, or Alexa and those, they have mental health tips, right? And then make some healthy foods. What are some new foods you want to try? Okay, I got a big, good secret. It's not a secret. Today in San Leandro at the library, they now have the farmer's market. There's a farmer's market every Wednesday at the library. And one of the things we do in our family is that is the day where we eat at the farmer's market and we shop. So our boys go to, I'm not gonna say the school publicly, well, they go to Bancroft, they walk down there now. And today they were so happy to go to the farmer's market. And so does that mean once a week, maybe you and yours go to the farmer's market and get something a little healthy? They got red blood oranges, that's really good. Practice.
It's It's a commercial. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for this. It's really plan a vacation. Okay, y'all. Somebody's like, I can't do a vacation. I don't have time. I don't have money, and I have no one to watch my kids. That's legitimate for all of us sometimes, right? One of those three things. Y'all, what's a one-day getaway? That one-day little vacation could even be when my kids are in school or in after-school program, I'm going to go walk to the farmer's market by myself, right. Taking a brain break. No phone, no fighting, just a moment. Any thoughts about decluttering the mind or any additions that maybe you've tried?
I think it's a brilliant, there's a brilliant mind connection that we've talked about in this circle before, that we remind ourselves when we unplug from our daily affairs and do these things, that we actually release endorphins, we release those chemicals in our brain and in our body that allow us to actually move away from stress and to actually move stress through us and to allow ourselves to be fully present in the moment, right? So exercise, the meditation, the making the healthy foods, those all mean I'm going to, for a moment, unplug from all the stress and just be different and just do different. And if we want things, for those of us who are trying to have life transformation or transformation in some area of our life, one of the things that we have to do is do something differently than what we're doing today, because we can't do the same things today and think that our environment will change, our circumstance will change, or we will change. And so all of these become, in some ways, some tools for personal transformation, for transformation of some aspect of how we're living, or transformation of our environment. And by the way, a lot of times, one of the things that I will name about when you start to transform your mind and spring clean your mind is that there are, and I'm going to go ahead and dare say, there may be people who have you boxed in to who you are today, and you're trying to change some aspect or have some beautiful days or consecutive beautiful days. And there might be people that you have to spring clean right out just to get some boundaries for yourself to be able to do these things, right? I know a lot of times for parents, we feel we don't have time for these things because we take care of so many people. But in the process, as Gingy said, it's at what cost to ourselves, both now and your future self, who's counting on you to make those spring cleaning choices and those spring decisions that are going to benefit you 5 years from now.
And y'all, some of those spring cleaning things is those kids we got. They're low attitudes, right? I want to say in the chat box, what time is the farmers markets? Wednesday from 3 to 7 from now September. And then the other thing about that I want to say is one of the best things we could do to intentionally parent our kids is to show them through our actions how to keep the mind, body, and spirit healthy, even on our bad days. They see our bad days. How many of y'all kids know your bad days more than anybody else? They hold all your secrets. That's true. Right? So let's also show them what it looks like to pull out of a bad day and to have multiple good days, and even take them with us on that, right? Because they're our little partners. How many of your kids are your little buddies? They're your little partners. We live in this life together. And then Lorena, I love what you said is that my self-care was going out on girls' night and I agreed to do this twice a month. Okay, if any parent or guardian here needs permission to have a moment with their friends, with their self, I'm gonna give you that permission right now.
Right now.
Parents need permission, right? Right now. If you can find a safe babysitter, right? A safe play date, take it this spring and go get an hour for yourself. You deserve it. You have put through so much to get your babies where they at. Go ahead, Lorena. I see your hand, my friend.
I was just doing, because I remember last time when Franklin, I think neither you or the other lady who's normally in here, and Franklin was like, do something for self-care. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do girls' night out. And then we set up that every 2 months we're going to hang out. It's basically like 4 of our friends. And we went out for dinner. We went out for dessert and we went out dancing. I was like, it was nice.
Let's go.
well, because COVID had closed everything, so it was actually nice to hang out with friends after a while. And it was nice because it was just us, no kiddos, so it was amazing. I ain't gonna lie.
And you set a realistic goal. You set every 2 months. That gives you time to find a babysitter and stuff. It's not like every week. Hi, Denisha. Am I saying your name right, my dear?
It's Denise.
It's Denise. Yep.
Hey.
Hi. A couple of things I wanted to add in on. One, the getting with your girls' night out or girlfriends. For me, so me and one of my closest friends, we just said, let's at least get together once a quarter. So we get together once a quarter and we tell everybody, like, leave us alone. We get a massage and we get, we're somewhere different to go eat and just talk and just have a good time. And it's a couple of hours, but it's definitely like necessary. So once we are like 2 hours in, we're like, wow, we needed this, right? Or we'll go for a walk or something, but it really does something for your mind and your body. Like I can feel it within myself, like, oh, I needed to just have an adult conversation, with somebody else who is going through what I'm going through.
Exactly.
And then I wanted to just speak to the about getting out in nature. So the picture when I first came on that had spoke to me was definitely the beach. And when the kids were on spring break last week, we were trying to think of something to do fun. And it was like, are we gonna go to the zoo? And it was like, let's go to the beach. And we went to Half Moon Bay.
Oh, nice.
And we just went to, like, there was a round table pizza out there that has a little arcade. So we like had some lunch and then we went to the beach and they had so much fun just putting their feet in the water. So, and it didn't cost us anything other than gas. So
No, it didn't cost anything other than, well, gas is something now. So
yes.
That's good job. Good job. And I love that you bring it up because the truth is, we need to fill our cups, and more now than ever, we as adults have brought our kids and our families or whoever you care for through some very hard times where we couldn't enjoy certain things. And now we can get back out and enjoy it. And the truth is, you deserve it. So, thank you so much. I want to then go ahead and move us because we could kind of be here all night through a couple other things. Frank, was there something in the chat box you wanted to lift up?
No, we just got some co-signing that self-care is the best care from Dennis, and Dennis is just being encouraging tonight, saying gas is high right now, but we got this. Laugh out loud, and that's right.
We could get back on our bikes and do some kids. Anybody?
And that's all we could.
Yet?
That's all we could do when the pandemic first started. When we got quarantined, all of a sudden everybody started walking through the neighborhood and biking. We all learned how to bike again.
Did anybody try to buy a bike during quarantine and couldn't find one? Right. These are the fun. We should write a book about funny things that happened during quarantine. Like,
oh my God. I was like, oh, I learned my neighbors' names. I was like, oh, what's up, neighbor? Let's go ahead. All right, let's talk.
I want to quickly go to the other ones that you all see. Take care of your body. What do you need to let go of that doesn't make you feel the best? I'll bust myself out. Drinking soda, diet or not, it feels really nasty in my body, but somehow I'm addicted. I'm gonna just put myself on blast because maybe you won't, right? That's one thing I know doesn't make my body feel good. And maybe this spring I let it go. Not 50 things because I'll fail, but I may succeed at that one. I want you don't have to say it, but is there one thing that you can let go of that doesn't make your body feel the best? If you want to say it, you can, but don't feel like you have to. Just one thing is where it all starts. Okay. The next is, what do you need more of in your body? Vitamin. I'm gonna just say I'm 45. I don't think I ever knew I needed vitamins more than ever than I do now. Anybody else? Y'all, we need some vitamins. Is it just a daily vitamin? Is it an orange a day? What is something? Is it washing your face at night so you just feel refreshed? And then space. Here's the questions to ask when we are spring cleaning our space. We can even put this up on the wall for our kids to do a check off as we play games like go in your room and bring out everything. What is it that you really need? Show me. Where would I keep it? Like if you really need it, is there a space for it? What do I need to let go of? While you're at it, unsubscribe from the promotional emails you haven't used in 3 months. This is for us adults specifically, right? Anybody you like, I don't even know why they keep texting me. It's because we have not told them to stop. So maybe part of spring cleaning is to declutter our emails, or sometimes go to your bank account and say, unsubscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. You realize you got $150 back extra a month you didn't even know you were losing, right? Those little things. Any other thoughts before we move from this mind, body, and space? Great. All right, go ahead, Denise.
So I remember when we used to have spring break when I was living with my parents, that we did have that like week where you did spring cleaning. And so I've been trying to implement it, but I'm like, gosh, but I gotta like take some time myself to do it. So that's been the challenge on like, and then I finally realized last week, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's not gonna all get done in a day.
Exactly.
You know, so maybe taking bite-sized pieces. Okay, today we're gonna do this room or whatever.
Yep.
So
that's right. I love you said, because the truth, the demands on our life now look very different than when we were growing up, right? The timing. And so if we set realistic goals over the course of spring is 3 months, what are some things we want to accomplish every month? And that way we also teach our kids how to task manage and set realistic goals where they can feel successful at. And you probably seem like the type of person, at the end of the day, when I'm done, I want to know I completed my list. Did I succeed? And part of that is purging the list. I got 15 things. We got this big high. I got 15 things I need to do up in here. Okay, can I just do these 3 in this one first month?
Yeah. Exactly.
Good. Lorena, what do you want to say, my friend? You said, I agree. I started budgeting and really keeping track of where my money is going and really can see places I can cut back on. Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all, this is also a great skill we could teach our kids because this is their life forever. They will never know how not to pay bills online or subscribe. We are just learning this, but this will be their total existence, how life moves. And so even if we can do that with them, some of those things they subscribe to on Roblox, they can let that go. They can let that go. All right, next, Frank.
Great. So look at this quote. If you watch how nature deals with adversity, continually renewing itself, you can't help but learn. Nature is constantly reminding us of how there are cycles of renewal. There's the fall, the winter, and then comes the spring where we do the renewal. And it's a constant reminder of we get to come back from the winter. And this is really a time of renewal and recovery. I mean, we've heard stories tonight of renewal and recovery. And so this takes place with our young ones too. So at the same time that we're having this experience, we don't forget that, yeah, our young people are having this experience of the world opening up, of people starting to take off their mask, of them making a decision on if they're ready to take their mask off or not. For 2 years, their schoolmates haven't seen their faces. And so they may have feelings about that. Either way, by the way, to take them off or to put them on. Are they ready to let someone breathe on them and hug on them or not at the schoolhouse? As my grandpa calls it, the schoolhouse.
Kids that were in kindergarten that are now 3rd grades that don't know life without masks.
Yeah. And so it's a time of renewal, and it's a time of getting young people to see the opportunity to build, to create, to imagine new seeds. And how do we get our young people to open up from a time where we're quarantined and it's about closing oneself off to, I can not only open myself to people, but open myself to ideas, open myself to new possibilities for myself. And really see that. Maybe it's a time where you grab a seed, a literal seed or a planting, and you put it somewhere just as a reminder of being able to now do something new and not be limited to what was. Like never before, we're creating a new society, a new reality. We can't go back to what was. And so how are you engaging your children in a conversation about possibilities? So, or what would you say about that? Does that resonate for you? Or does that feel, oh, look at little Jasmine. Does that resonate for you? Or do you feel resistance to that? Who feels protective and not ready yet? And who's dying to let their children go free? Let's check in. This will be our last place to park for tonight. Oh, it's one more place? Gingy's giving me a signal.
One last slide, quickly go through it, yeah.
Okay. How are people feeling about their children planting new seeds with their children and seeing this new way of coming out of the pandemic?
My daughter says being without a mask feels illegal.
Wow.
See?
That's real, because we trained them. It was for a season.
During spring break, when we went into places, Trend, even though I didn't wear a mask, my kids would put on masks in public places because they felt weird.
Fran, how did you talk to her about that when she told you that?
I feel it too, but also she understands that it's to protect us and to protect others, especially high risk. You know, the sacrifices we took not to see family or like the elders, my grandparents and things like that. So she thinks if it is then removed, do those chances go away? Because she knows it doesn't.
Right. You bring up a good point. We still got to teach our kids around, you know, the different things they feel about this and how they want to maneuver now. Wow. Thank you.
I'd love to hear from some other folks, especially people who haven't shared, or if you are in one of our translation rooms, feel free to share in the chat or even come in the main room and speak in your first language and we'll interpret it. Don't you worry. Aiden, Violetta, Miriam. Oh, there's some folks. Sandy.
And I also want to say this is, you know, sometimes these questions we don't think about and we come in here like, wow, that's a question. And so even if you can't answer it tonight or you're not ready, just take a picture, take note and contemplate it, right? Because you as parents and guardians, we have more power and control over our kids than anyone else besides their peers. That's a whole nother workshop. And so is there something you want to pause on and think about to see how you sow new seeds in your children moving forward this spring? Or water or prune the gardens that are already there. Great. Frank, I'm gonna jump to this slide real quick. One of the things I wanted to offer you all is spring can also bring a change of behavior in young folks' mind, body, and spirit. The reason why I thought it was important that we got to say these quickly is because oftentimes behaviors and things happen in spring with our kids and we're like, oh my gosh, my kid is crazy, they're tripping. But I want to kind of normalize some things so that we know this as parents when we look at our kids and see. So in the spring, we can see that sometimes kids are more restless at school and can appear to have behavior challenges. This could also be known as spring fever, right? You're like, my kid was good all winter and now my kid can't stay in their seat, right? So there's the multiple stimulations happening. You can translate that for your child, whatever of developmental stage they are. Sleep patterns change. Anybody's sleep pattern change, right? The days has gotten longer, all different things. Sometimes if kids have allergies, that affects their sleep. And, you know, to be conscious of those. Kids may seem exhausted. Our kids are going, like I'll speak in my house, they're going through some major growth spurts right now. And what we've studied about our kids is when they go through major growth spurts, they are tired. I'd be like, you didn't work all day. But we also have to know sometimes that is, they may need more water, they may need more rest, they may need more fruits and veggies or vitamins because their bodies are developing very quickly. They may want to play more and work less. Ooh, that fidgety. I know James knows this at school because this is the season where all the district principals, counselors, it gets to jumping. Am I right, James?
You're definitely correct.
Stuff that you won't even know about as parents that the school folks know about. It just is a lot going on. You may even see if you have older kids or younger, they start having girlfriend and boyfriends now. They don't do nothing but send notes or texts, but still, hormones are bursting everywhere. And one of the things Franklin and I learned is we were waiting for this to happen when our kids got like 14, 15. This started like in 4th, 5th grade, so like those type of things changed with our kids. A little more attitude and a little less sweetness. You said, did you just say that to me? Right? All these different things. And then what we know is that spring is a time of blossoming, and our kids blossom in ways that we don't even understand. Are there some things maybe you all have seen that you want to share with us other parents and guardians that we can also be a lookout on, so we don't think we're tripping or our kids are tripping, but that it's part of the developmental cycle, especially during spring? We should just interview James this whole time, but anyone? What's in the chat box? Great. My daughter, yeah. I wasn't going to point that out, but sometimes kids get to feeling a little grown at 9. Anything anyone else wants to offer? Or James, do you want to offer anything that you see in young folks around this season as well?
I would just say that the spring and the weather, unfortunately, has changed a little bit, but kids are definitely a lot more active. They like water is one of their favorite things to play with during the spring. And, it's just a time for us to just stay connected to them on their daily interactions, and just, continue to walk with our children and have those conversations that are meaningful about their daily lives and what's happening at school for them to tell the story. And there's different ways to engage in that story. And we've talked about those things throughout our sessions so that you know what's going on and you have a pulse of who your child is and the people that they are associating with, which is really important.
Right. Right. Thank you. Anything else, Frank, before we jump into the raffle part? Denise, I see your text. I'm answering right now, my friend.
All right, good. Thank you everyone for tonight. We have a couple announcements. First, in our chat window, you'll see our evaluation. Please tell us how we did. And so you can click on that eval even after the call is over and fill out the chat. But if you want to get started right now, we would love that. Our number tonight was 3. And so our raffle winners are Aiden, Dennis, and Denise. And so please text me your emails, even if you sent them to me before, and phone number with your last names. And so you can send that to me private or you can send it to me public. But I just want to grab your email and we'll send you a gift card to thank you all for your participation. And then would somebody please write into the chat June 1st, because June 1st is going to be a celebration of our 2 years of having the Family Learning Pad, and we are going to do it in person. So James Parrish and his team has commissioned Blaze Consulting to put together a family and friends celebration day on June 1st at 5:30 on our Wednesday. We will meet at San Leandro High School at the Fred Korematsu campus, the FTK campus as they call it, and it'll be free food, free music, free fun. We will all, fist, elbow bump each other. Wait, I think my elbow's a little ashy. But we'll elbow bump each other and we'll talk to each other and celebrate like 110 plus weeks of being in this pandemic, and you made it. And so I'm just telling you, I expect to see all of our friends that have been with us over the past 2 years, over the past year, or if you just came in 3 months ago, I expect to see you all, and we expect and would love to see you all on June 1st, 6/1 at 5:30 p.m. And bring your children. There's going to be children's games. They're going to play out on the grass, and we're just going to have a good time, y'all. So start clearing your clearing your calendar, and it would not be family landing pad if we didn't have raffles, and so we'll be raffling off that night
Actually,
as well.
Raffle prizes and gift cards. And okay, those family game nights we have sometime? We're going to have some family games. So for all of y'all little competitors and your babies, Jasmine, you know how you like to run around the house and do the games to win? We're going to do all that stuff in person. So we really want you all to come out. You'll be seeing a lot of RSVP coming out soon, different things like that. And so and hang and let's really celebrate. So we'll keep you posted and bring whomever. It's open. We really are going to try to create a big play day for all of us. All right.
Where did you say it's going to be?
At the FTK campus.
At San Leandro High. Yeah. So you guys will be seeing flyers coming out soon with things like that. Spread the word too. Whatever school you represent, let them know. This is for, it's because we've all been on the landing pad, but anyone is welcome, family and friends and other people from your schools as well. All right. Did you all get to do the survey? Did the link open up for you all? It's so important for us to hear and see what you think and what you may need. Okay, cool.